What up, my fellow Knick fans? This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and don't panic quite yet. Now, this will be the Knicks and Unfavorable Media Coverage Volume 5, and this time the media is using a lot of the scare from the coronavirus to levy a bunch of attacks on James Dolan and the image of the New York Knicks. Now, last night, Adrian Wojnarowski had initially sent out a tweet. Let's pull it up right here. And quote, several teams were willing to put the games on hiatus, but the rest wanted to move forward, eliminating fans from arenas to continue playing games. Sources tell ESPN one team wanted to keep the status quo until a governmental public mandate dictated change, and it's the New York Knicks. And this was sent out on 3/11 at 8:16 p.m. Now, if we look at it the next morning, Adrian Wojnarowski made another report. Sources say besides the Knicks, two other teams on the Board of Governors called Wednesday to express reservations on eliminating fans from games without first receiving a formal government mandate to do so. Houston Rockets and the Indiana Pacers. And this was sent out on 3/12 at 10:16 a.m. That's very interesting because usually when they have these meetings, all the teams are represented. So any type of buffer between some of these teams is going to be expressed. And I initially believed that he knew that other teams had reservations also, because the Knicks, out of all these teams in the league that have investors, specific sponsors, can't just stop business and not ask any questions. The Knicks couldn't have been the only team that had reservations about this. Now, the Houston Rockets have large contracts with, China as far as showing some of the games, jersey sponsorships, and other merchandising. And the Indiana Pacers are a very small market franchise. The ownership doesn't have as much money as other owners. And they don't like going over the luxury tax. And they're very reserved in Indiana as far as spending money and how to run this team. They pretty much run the team like a cash flow business. The Indiana Pacers are a team that used to be in the ABA. And so when they got sold into the NBA, they still have to pay the previous families that had owned the Pacers when they were back in the ABA. So their financials are kind of weird like that. But the Knicks definitely were not the only team that had reservations. And this is sort of like a trolling by Adrian. And it's not only him, it's his network, in particular ESPN, as they continue to troll the Knicks as far as their attendance. Now, going on to the attendance on March 4th, as we take a look at this article right here, the first case of the coronavirus hit in New York. As a lawyer that worked in Midtown Manhattan, and if you're from New York City, you already know he took the train and, just public transportation to work, most likely. And he got sick. And then he went back home to Westchester. Either he took a cab or he took public transportation, as many New Yorkers in the tri-state area do. So this was reported in the AM early in that morning on March 4th, 2020, as you can see in the bottom, at 11:14 a.m. The Knicks later that night played the Utah Jazz. Now, as you know, in New York City, everyone takes mass public transportation. And sometimes the MTA, it could be a cesspool of germs and just bugs. They don't really clean it. But after everyone heard that the coronavirus had hit the city, a lot of people, kind of made halts to their initial plans. Now, as we're going to see in the segment here, they're going to use this chance to utilize the Knicks attendance record for that same night after getting the first initial coronavirus scare. And they're going to narrate it as if the Knicks had low attendance because of the Spike Lee situation. You guys check it out.
Nary a day goes by here at The Jump where we don't discuss, first of all, how amazing Allen Iverson is, but also the plight of the New York Knicks and their fans, and today will be no different. Last night, the Knicks drew their loudest crowd in more than 500 games since December. Sorry, their lowest crowd. Lowest, but also loud because
in certain ways.
In certain ways, I'm sorry. The announced crowd, 16,588. That's more than 3,000 below capacity for their loss to the Jazz.
Yeah, exactly. Because definitely the virus scare was all over. Most people in New York City take the train. It's rare that people drive to work, especially the people that live and work in Manhattan. It's so easy just to take public transportation, particularly MSG is right in the middle of the city. It's actually right underneath one of the biggest transit train stops in New York City. So it is what it is. But you see how they're narrating this, that the Knicks have a very low attendance the same day where is basically the first outbreak in New York City had hit. It is what it is. You guys let me know what you think. And hopefully we get more NBA basketball. If not, the season's over. At least hopefully we'll get the playoffs. But you guys stay safe. Watch yourselves taking mass public transportation, and you guys be easy. Peace.